My name is Andre, and I run a company called Casa Bluey. We basically operate at the intersection between design and wellness. So we sell hot tubs, cold plunges, saunas. All of it is made in Europe, or some of it is handmade. And so we are trying to make the most aesthetically driven and pleasing wellness products in the space.
Definitely the coolest looking hot tubs I've ever seen. Andre and I, we've been working together since I think like late December, early January of 2024. You guys had a domain migration this year, a name change effectively. Well, let's back up even further, kind of when we started. What did your guys' SEO process look like before we got started in January, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have anything in place. To be honest, I knew what SEO was, knew some of the high level concepts and themes that led to success, but I knew it was important and I wanted to invest in it. I got put in touch with you, Kai, through a recommendation. And so, it was really, we were able to build something from scratch with you.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. I definitely see a lot of growth. I think especially like the buyers you appeal to and the price point you operate at, I think SEO is massively important, especially comparatively to other channels. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think there's tons of growth ahead of us still, which is going to be sick. Compared to what we were when we started back in January, late December, into where we're at now, can you just tell us a little bit what the performances look like in terms of traffic, rankings, revenue, all that kind of stuff?
Totally. So, I mean, when we started, it was basically at nothing. I mean, I think it was 5 clicks a day or something. And now we are averaging 40 clicks a day. And I think where, we've had days and little trends that almost feel like we're about to break out higher than that. So I'm pretty excited overall. I think the impression counts are now consistently above 5,000, even hitting 6,000 impressions per day, which is really exciting. I think that's a leading indicator that I always look at when I see following on results. I also, like you said, we went through a rebrand, which I think the results probably would have been even better at this point had we not gone through that and the domain migration and everything related to it. But I think what we're seeing is very positive. I know that we're also ranking really highly, in some cases even number one in some of our key terms, like luxury hot tubs, which for us is top term. I would say probably the most important term for us. So that's a huge win. And we've driven, 100K in sales through organic revenue between, Google and Bing. So I would say so far, very positive experience with SEO. And I think, like I said, I think we are in a position to do much more.
I still think it's insane. We talked a few weeks ago about the price point you guys operate, and someone came in from SEO and bought a hot tub at that cost is still insane to me. When you decide, obviously we got put in touch from a mutual friend, were you kind of looking around? Did he reach out to you to ask? And what was kind of your reasoning at that point that you wanted to get into SEO? Surely you've obviously been touching every other channel, Meta, Google ads, whatever, what have you. Why SEO then?
I felt like I had been playing around with PPC for 7 months at that point. I had spoken to some bigger SEO agencies when around the same time that I was starting with my PPC. I felt like I needed to validate that this was a motion that would work online in e-commerce in general, and that just meant something that would work a little faster than SEO would, which is why I started with PPC first.
Sure.
And also just understanding what terms I wanted to bid for. These are things that I think gave us an ability to come in a little bit more informed with our SEO strategy, which was really helpful. 7 months in, I had kind of validated that I had something that the market wanted, that we had a motion that was working, and that candidly we had the money to invest and think long term, right? I mean, we've definitely seen really great results. I think the majority of those results happened once we had that foundation, which is what people say about SEO all the time. I mean, I think it was immediate, it was immediately apparent that we were headed in the right direction, even in the early months. But I think now I'm particularly happy that I came in with patience and foresight that this was an investment in the brand long term. So that's where I was, and in terms of the decision to do it, I spoke to a few other agencies that were a bit larger. I think Kai, you stood out because you were a bit smaller, a bit more focused on serving a small cohort of clients really well, and that really kind of mirrored what I was looking for.
We had a good amount of growth early. I think a lot of the collections we built out and stuff, and obviously creating, the multi-person spas and stuff was a really big ad. I definitely see things lately starting to compound and get the foundation is so much stronger than it was back in, February, March, April, which is sweet. In terms of strategy and the delivery, communications, everything through Slack, what are your thoughts on that? Seamless, not seamless? What are your thoughts?
No, I think it's pretty seamless. I think for the most part, you're very responsive on Slack, and so are the new people that have joined on your team. It's kind of like when the blog posts come out, I have to review those. That's the majority of what I do. Outside of that, maybe I have some ideas for blog posts, or I ask you for data with which you're pretty forthcoming. And overall, it's just me checking Search Console every day to just see how things are going, because I also have become a bit of a junkie on this stuff too, and just seeing what's trending, what's not. So overall, pretty freaking seamless overall. So I'm happy with it.
Awesome. Yeah, super good to hear. Yeah, just touching on the blog content. So yeah, publishing what are we at, 4 to 8 on the average month? I think we're recently been at 6 a month for you guys. How much time in an average month do you think you spend reviewing that? Outside of the Search Console, which you check every day, how much time do you think about the blog content itself, on a monthly basis?
Probably an hour.
Yeah.
Just reading all the articles and just making sure that, they're kind of hitting on some of the topics. I think, you guys do a really good job of doing your research based on what you guys think is going to do, the best. But obviously sometimes as a brand owner, you have to come in and kind of reorient sometimes and be like, hey, maybe we should think about this or add that. And between what you guys bring and what, a good founder should bring, I think it ends up yielding a really clear and acquisitive blog as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. I think in the first few months we were targeting a little bit more broadly on the hot tub thing. In the last few months we've really niched into kind of the luxury aspect of the business. I think the content's a lot stronger now, and our content quality is stronger. I think you're probably spending less time in review lately as we're really diving into that specific customer persona.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're starting to find an identity. We're kind of done with the broad keywords that we just needed to rank for.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
So, okay, we've been together for 10 months now, obviously heading into the end of 2024, but what do you think for the future of your brand now, with SEO having a super strong foundation and now into a brand name you are ready to own and grow? What do you think the next few months and years look like?
I'm super pumped. I think SEO is going to be a core part of the strategy as a whole. I don't really think you can rely on PPC as your only channel for growth. I feel like things come and go there, and costs can squeeze up just depending on what's going on in the market. And so ultimately you want to own some mind share in the organic channels. You want to have various ways of acquiring customers, and SEO is definitely one that we're not just investing in now, but continue to plan to do so until the end of the company, if that day comes. So I think that if we're going to win, I think we're going to win big, because in large part because of SEO.
If a brand like you guys were on the fence about working with us, I know you chatted with a few other agencies, what would you say to them if they're thinking about their agencies or SEO even at all?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely invest in SEO unless there's a specific reason why you think that that's not the case. I would even still chat with different agencies and people to make sure that feeling that you might have is well-founded. Because you might be wrong. I even had people tell me that this potentially wasn't going to be a fit for our brand either, and I can tell you that they were wrong. That's one thing. Just do your due diligence and don't give up on the channel. It is definitely real. It's not like some black magic. And then in terms of with Kai, I feel like his service and his results speak for themselves. I think I'm very happy with it. I had a friend, for example, that went the cheap route, found someone on Fiverr and basically paid them a fraction of what I pay Kai, but they didn't really see an uptick of their results. And what I've learned as a business owner, which is really important, is A, you get what you pay for, and B, we constantly underestimate how much value your time has. And not just time as a person, as a business owner, but time as a business, time in market. And most of the things that I look back on as a business owner and think, oh, I regret that, is because I didn't make key investments earlier on, and I was pausing for things that should have been done earlier. Even if it was a mistake, even if an agency that you picked was a mistake, you're one step closer to being with the right person. And so you're really what you're optimizing for, what you should be optimizing for, is figuring out what channels and what strategies you want to invest in, and then you can only figure out whether the right people you're with are the right people by using them. So index towards action, and Kai would be a great choice.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you in Slack.
Anytime, man. Anytime, Kai. Thank you for everything.